Hi, greetings to all of you. Today we are going to have a brief explanation of common machine learning algorithms, and I am going to give you the brief explanation of the following algorithms such as linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, support vector machine, naive Bayes, KNN, K-means, random forest, dimensionality reduction algorithms, and gradient boosting algorithms such as GBM, XGBoost, Light GBM, and CatBoost. So the first one is linear regression. It is used to estimate real values, cost of houses, number of calls, total sales, etc. based on continuous variables. Here we establish relationship between independent and dependent variables by fitting a best line. This best fit line is known as regression line and is represented by a linear equation y is equal to a into x plus b. In this equation, y is a dependent variable and a is the slope and x is the independent variable and b is the intercept. These coefficients a and b are derived based on minimizing the sum of squared difference of distance between data points and the regression line. So the next one is logistic regression. Don't get confused by its name. It is a classification, not a regression algorithm. It is used to estimate discrete values such as binary values like 1 or zeros, yes or no, or true or false based on a given set of independent variables. In simple words, it predicts the probability of occurrence of an event by fitting data to a logit function. Hence, it is also known as logit regression. Since it predicts the probability, it outputs the values lies between 0 and 1. So here it will be following the equation like coming to the math. The log odds of the outcome is modeled as a linear combination of the predictor variables such as odds is equal to probability divided by 1 minus probability. This is nothing but the probability of event occurrence divided by probability of not event occurrence. The next one is decision tree. This is one of my favorite algorithms and I use it quite frequently. It is a type of supervised learning algorithm that is mostly used for classification problems. Surprisingly, it works for both categorical and continuous dependent variables. In this algorithm, we split the population into two or more homogeneous sets. This is done based on most significant attributes or independent variables to make as distinct groups as possible. For more details, you can also read in some Google search like what is meant by decision tree and what is meant by classification algorithms and what are the categorical and continuous variables, etc. So the next algorithm is support vector machine. It is a classification method. In this algorithm, we plot each data item as a point in n-dimensional space where n is number of features you have, with the values of each feature being the value of a particular coordinate. For example, if we have only had two features like height and hair length of an individual, we would first plot these two variables in two-dimensional space where each point has two coordinates. These coordinates are known as the support vectors. So now we will find some line that splits the data between two differently classified groups of data. This will be the line such that the distances from the closest point in each of the two groups will be the farthest away. So the next one is naive Bayes. It is a classification technique based on Bayes' theorem with an assumption of independence between predictors. In simple terms, a naive Bayes classifier assumes that the presence of a particular feature in a class is unrelated to the presence of any other feature. For example, a fruit may be considered to be an apple if it is red, round, and about 3 inches in diameter, even if these features dependent on each other or upon the existence of other features. A naive Bayes classifier would consider all of these properties to be independently contribute to the probability that this fruit is an apple. So it will be following an equation: posterior probability equal to likelihood into class prior probability divided by predictor prior probability. So the next one is KNN, K nearest neighbor. It can be used for both classification and regression problems. However, it is more widely used in classification problems in the industry. K nearest neighbors is a simple algorithm that stores all available cases and classifies new cases by a majority of vote of its K neighbors. The case being assigned to the class is most common among its K nearest neighbors measured by a distance function. This distance function can be an Euclidean, Manhattan, or else Minkowski and Hamming distance. First three functions are used for continuous function and the fourth one Hamming for categorical variables. If k is equal to 1, then the case is simply assigned to the class of its nearest neighbor. At times, choosing k turns out to be a challenge while performing KNN modeling. So, the next one is K-means. It is a type of unsupervised algorithm which solves the clustering problem because it doesn't have a target variable or labeled target. This procedure follows a simple and easy way to classify a given data set through a certain number of clusters. Data points inside a cluster are homogeneous and heterogeneous to the peer groups. Remember, figuring out shapes from ink blocks K-means is somewhat familiar with this activity. So the K-means forms cluster. K picks K number of points for each cluster known as centroids. Each data point forms a cluster with the closest centroid, that is K clusters, finds the centroid of each cluster based on existing cluster members. Here we have new centroids. As we have new centroids, repeat step 2 and 3. Find the closest distance for each data point from new centroids and get associated with the new K clusters. Repeat this process until convergence occurs, that is the centroids does not change. So how you can determine the value of k is, in K-means we have clusters and each cluster has its own centroid. Sum of square of difference between centroid and the data points within the cluster constitutes within the sum of square value for that cluster. Also, when the sum of square values for all the clusters are added, it becomes total within sum of square value for the cluster solution. So we know that as number of cluster increases, the value keeps on decreasing. But if you plot the result, you may see that the sum of squared distance decreases sharply up to some value of k and then much more slowly after that. Here we can find the optimum number of clusters. Next one is random forest. Random forest is a trademark term for an ensemble of decision trees. In random forest, we have collection of decision trees, so known as forests. To classify a new object based on attributes, each tree gives a classification and we say the tree votes for that class. The forest chooses the classification having the most votes over all the trees in the forest. Each tree is planted and grown as follows. If the number of cases in the training set is n, then sample of n cases is taken at random but with replacement. This sample will be the training set for the growing of the trees. If there are m input variables, a number m very lesser than m is specified such that at each node m variables are selected at random out of m and best split on this m is used to split the node. The value of m is held constant during the forest growing. Each tree is grown to the largest extent possible. There is no pruning. So the next one is dimensionality reduction algorithms. In the last 4 to 5 years, there has been an exponential increase in data capturing at every possible stages. Corporates, government agencies, research organizations are not only coming with the new sources, but also they are capturing data in great detail. For example, e-commerce companies are capturing more details about customer, like their demographics, web crawling history, what they like or dislike, purchase history, feedback, and many others to give them personalized attention more than your nearest grocery shopkeeper. As a data scientist, the data we are offered also consists of many features. This sounds good for building good robust model, but there is a challenge. How would you identify highly significant variables out of 1000 or 2000? In such cases, dimensionality reduction algorithm helps us along with various other algorithms like decision tree, random forest, principal component analysis, factor analysis, identify based on correlation matrix, missing value ratio, and others. So the next one is gradient boosting algorithms, which are the final one, but it has some of the further types like GBM. So GBM is a boosting algorithm used when we deal with plenty of data to make prediction with a high prediction power. Boosting is actually an ensemble of learning algorithms which combines the prediction of several base estimators in order to improve robustness over a single estimator. It combines multiple weak and average predictors to build a strong predictor. These boosting algorithms always work well in data science competitions like Kaggle, AV Hackathon, and Crowd Analytics. The second one among the gradient boosting algorithms is the XGBoost, another classic gradient boosting algorithm that is known to be decisive choice between winning and losing in some Kaggle competitions. The XGBoost has an immensely high predictive power, which makes it the best choice for accuracy in events, as it possesses both linear model and the tree learning algorithm, making the algorithm most 10 times faster than the existing gradient booster techniques. So one of the most interesting things about XGBoost is that it is also called a regularized boosting technique. This helps to reduce overfit modeling and has a massive support for a range of languages such as Scala, Java, R, Python, Julia, and C++. So, and another one is LightGBM. So LightGBM is a gradient boosting framework that uses tree-based learning algorithms. It is designed to be distributed and efficient with the following advantages. So why it is called as light is because it is distributed and makes the work very light. Faster training speed and higher efficiency. Lower memory usage is the key point for the name LightGBM, and better accuracy, parallel and GPU learning supported, capable of handling large-scale data. The framework is a fast and high-performance gradient boosting, one based on decision tree algorithms used for ranking, classification, and many other machine learning tasks. It was developed under the Distributed Machine Learning Toolkit project of Microsoft. Since the LightGBM is based on decision tree algorithms, it splits the tree leaf-wise with the best fit, whereas other boosting algorithms split the tree depth-wise or level-wise rather than leaf-wise. So when growing on the same leaf in LightGBM, the leaf-wise algorithm can reduce more loss than the level-wise algorithm and hence results in much better accuracy, which can rarely be achieved by any of the existing boosting algorithms. And we are going to see about the final thing and very useful thing, that is the CatBoost. CatBoost is a recently open source machine learning algorithm from Yandex. It can easily integrate with the deep learning frameworks like Google's TensorFlow and Apple's Core ML. The best part about CatBoost is that it does not require extensive data training like other ML models and can work on a variety of data formats, not undermining how robust it can be. Make sure you handle missing data well before you proceed with the implementation. CatBoost can automatically deal with categorical variables without showing the type conversion error, which helps you to focus on tuning your model better than sorting out trivial errors. So I hope this video would be very useful for you to understand the basic definition of all the machine learning algorithms. I mean the commonly used machine learning algorithms. So kindly share it with your friends who are interested in learning machine learning. So thank you, and I will meet you in next video.